Hello and welcome to the Undead Gaming News Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host, Zombie, and joining me is my co-host, Litchi.
Hello!
Our first story this week comes from Abandoned once again, as Hassan Karaman has been quoted as saying that Abandoned is a survival shooter and it has some horror elements in it, but it's not actually a horror game. It's not what people think it is, and at first they were going to make it an open world, but with the high quality graphics that we have now, they had to sacrifice that. And so it's not really an open world anymore, it's more of a linear story.
That doesn't really give a lot of information. So it's a survival shooter that has horror elements, so it's like horror games. Like, how heavily does it lean on the horror aspect?
Well, based on this statement, I don't think they will be leaning on it very much. I would assume maybe there's a couple of jump scares, the typical forest horror setting, but as far as the actual gameplay-wise and everything, I don't think it will really be very horrific.
I don't know, maybe he's just trying to cover his bases in case it isn't horror. This horror game isn't actually horrifying. So if we don't get the atmosphere right, it was totally never a horror game in the first place.
Well, to be fair, I don't think I've played a horror game that's actually been horrifying. So
maybe that's why he's saying it, because he knows that no one knows how to do a horror game. So if we say it's not a horror game and we get it right, people will like it. But if we say it's a horror game and we get it wrong, people are not going to be happy that it didn't come out right.
Well, based on the fact that he said it was more of a survival shooter, I'm assuming that you'll be having a lot of resource management with bullets and guns and stuff, similar to how you have in Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
But to also update a story we covered last week, the app that was supposed to launch, that hit a technical snag before launch, was finally fixed and was released, and more people decided to speculate that it was still Silent Hill, even though it's not. Which then led to Blue Box Studios tweeting, "We wanted to set things straight, we have no relations with Konami. Silent Hill is owned by Konami. We do not have any relations with Hideo Kojima. It was never our intention to tease the name Silent Hill. We sincerely apologise for this."
So it is Silent Hill, just not called Silent Hill.
It's not Silent Hill. It's Random Abandoned Game.
Well, if they abandon it, why are we covering it?
It's called Abandoned. There are people speculating that they will also abandon the game. That's based on past projects being abandoned, but I feel like they'll still bring this one out when the time's right.
Who knows?
In other news though, we have a new event in Dying Light, as they've released a new DLC that you can get, the Astronaut Bundle, and with this bundle you'll have Low Gravity. The event is available now and will allow players to traverse without fear of hitting the ground too hard. All landings will be soft during this event, so there is no need to look before leaping. The zombies are also affected by the gravity change, and if a player defeats 100 enemies affected by low gravity, they can earn a V27 shifter, which is a machete from the bundle. If the community can work together to kill 15 million enemies that are affected by low gravity, then everyone will be rewarded with 3 weapon mods. The 3 weapon mods are: the first one is a V23 Eraser, which is a laser rifle that sets enemies on fire. Another one is the V40 Suspender, which is a stasis pistol that will freeze enemies in place, even in midair. And then the final one is the V27 Shifter, which is the machete. And the machete also changes its effect type after several consecutive hits, allowing for toxic fire and shock damage. The bundle is available currently for £2.09. The bundle also comes with a new outfit and a new buggy skin, as well as these weapon mods.
Apparently people still play Dying Light.
Well, the next Dying Light's on the way, so people will be jumping back to the original to get prepared. Have you ever played Doom?
I've never played a Doom, no.
Well, if you're a Nintendo Switch user, you might be able to get the entire Doom collection at some point soon, as Best Buy has listed a full Doom collection for the Switch and marked it with the release date of September the 2nd. The collection includes Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, and 2016's Doom Reboot. Previously, the Doom Slays collection was available for Xbox and PlayStation, minus Doom 64. This would be the first time Switch players could buy all of the games as part of a physical package. However, Bethesda hasn't provided any official confirmation on the package yet. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it says obviously it contains Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, and the Doom Reboot. Why does it not contain Doom Eternal? Why is it not the full collection?
Probably because that's the newest one and they couldn't get that in, I don't know. Maybe they still want people to go out and buy that one, as it is.
And then obviously, are they going to add Doom 64 to the Xbox and PlayStation versions?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Have you ever wanted to play a Doom game?
I mean, I own both the Reboot and Eternal, I just haven't played them.
Did you happen to get those for free as well?
I think I purchased them on Steam. I might have got one of them for free on PlayStation at some point. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Might have been a PS Plus game at some point, I can't remember.
I don't remember ever being a PS Plus game.
Don't know.
But in other news, there's a new Ace Combat in development. Bandai Namco has announced that it is in development, with ILCA being the main developer for the title, and it will be made using the Unreal Engine 5. And that's about all we know about it so far. I think this is the 8th installment in the franchise, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I'll check out.
I would assume this game will come out maybe 2023, if it's only just being announced that it's in development now. Maybe early 2023. That's just my guess, based on the fact that it's only just been announced to be in development. And obviously games don't take a year or a few months to make, so...
Depends on the quality of the game.
Well, I don't think this one will be made in a few months or a year.
But yeah, the fact it says, it confirms it is in development, I'm going to guess it's probably pretty early in development. Maybe a few months in.
Yeah. In other news, however, the developers of Outriders have apparently not been paid. People Can Fly is the development team, and they recently stated in an investor note that this probably means, in Square Enix's opinion, Outriders has not exceeded the break-even point yet. We don't know how many copies have been sold. We do know there's apparently millions of players, so I would assume that it's well beyond the break-even point.
Who knows what the break-even point was?
Well, there tends to be a difference in the actual break-even point and what publishers say is the break-even point, because they want enough of a profit to call it a break-even point, even though it's not actually a break-even point. Because obviously a break-even point would be you get the amount of money you invested into the game. But even publishers like EA, for example, have a break-even point that's a couple million in profit. So I do wonder where Square Enix's break-even point sits on this game, compared to how much has actually been brought in.
Oh no, you say obviously Outriders has like millions of players, yeah?
Yes.
But it was, when it actually released, it did so as part of the Xbox Game Pass library. So they didn't make any money on, obviously, that. Well, players themselves obviously didn't have to pay for it. I don't know how much Microsoft pays the developer for it being on.
Yeah, but I do remember also when the game came out, there was a comparison between how many copies were sold on PlayStation and how many were claimed on the Xbox Game Pass, and there was a pretty high percentage for PlayStation buying them. If it was only a small or smaller percentage of Xbox Game Pass claimers than there is to copies sold to PlayStation users, there should still be plenty of profit in there.
Question is, do we go buy Outriders now to support the devs, or is it just lining Square Enix's pockets now?
Well, I mean, by law they need to pay the devs anyway, if they've surpassed the break-even point. I don't know what their break-even point is and how much money they've actually got back, so...
Yep.
But I do think the devs need to be paid regardless. Personally, I've already bought the game anyway. I bought it before this story even was a thing. I haven't played it yet, though. It's not even that expensive either.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. It doesn't earn as much money because it's not as expensive.
I think it was £20-something when I got it. I think that was on a sale. I think it's usually about £30.
Yeah.
But, there's still people that need to be paid, in my opinion, so they've put a lot of hard work into that game, and they need to be paid for their time and work.
See if they reach the break-even point then.
Well, we'll have to wait for their financial report, I suppose.
Yeah.
In other news, though, we have some new games coming to the Xbox Game Pass. On the 19th, we had Recompile, Train Sim World 2, and 12 Minutes. On the 25th, we had Psychonauts 2. On the 26th, we'll have Myst. And then leaving on the 31st will be Blair Witch, Double Kick Heroes, NBA 2K21, and Stranger Things 3, the game. Do any of the new games interest you?
I mean, I didn't even have Game Pass anyway.
Well, in general, I'm talking about. You don't have to specifically get them from Game Pass.
I don't know, I might have to actually look into the games, see what the hell they actually are first.
What about the ones that are leaving? Do you know anything about them?
The ones that are leaving, obviously you got Horror Game. I don't know what Double Kick Heroes is. NBA 2K21, which is just basketball, which isn't too interesting. And the Stranger Things, the game 3, the game. It looks. It's not probably not my kind of thing, because I've looked at the Stranger Things games and they were just like arcade style, which like retro style, which is not my thing.
Well, that would make sense considering the style of the show.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah, that aesthetic makes sense for if the game was in the show, but I don't live in the 80s.
But some people like that kind of aesthetic.
They do, but they also tend to prefer games that with that aesthetic that actually came out at that time.
Yeah, but sometimes people like games that try to recapture that style and that atmosphere and feel to the game. So, if you're looking for a new game on the PlayStation, however, on the 16th we had Candleman for the PS4, and the UK got Arab Drift Cars on the PS4, Fort Triumphant on the PS4, ZJ the Ball on the PS4. And then on the 17th we had Void Source for the PS4. The UK also got Rims Racing for the PS4 and PS5. On the 18th we had Pilot Box by Box on the PS4, Rogue Explorer on the PS4, World Soccer Strikers 91 on the PS4. On the 19th we had Order of Battle World War II, PS4, Recompile for the PS5, Sakura Succubus 4 for the PS4 and PS5, Save Your Nuts for the PS4, Tetris Effect Connected for the PS4, Train World Sim 2 Rush Hour for the PS5, Yoni for the PS4, and if you're a UK user you can also get Darker Skies for the PS4 and Home Run High for the PS4. On the 20th we had Fract on the PSVR, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on the PS4 and PS5, Madden NFL 22 on the PS4 and PS5. Do any of those games take your interest?
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut, but I already obviously own Ghost of Tsushima. You can buy an upgrade, which is basically the same as just buying the DLC, but I mean, it would have made more sense to just offer me the DLC, to be fair. Then there's, I don't know what a lot of, obviously these actually are. Obviously, I know what Train Sim is, it's just, I don't know how, do I have time to be playing like a chill game where I just drive that train? And then obviously there's football games, both real football and American football. I'm guessing it's Save Your Nuts. Is that possibly about a squirrel? I want to say it's maybe probably, is it a platformer about like a squirrel trying to get his nuts back or something?
Based on the art, it's not a platformer, but you are a squirrel that's getting nuts, and you're being chased by a dog. It seems to be different levels of, like, puzzle stuff. Collect the nuts and avoid danger. Get out the other side kind of thing.
It might be an alright game to play with your friends, because it's a multiplayer, like, party game. Actually, to be fair, that art looks more like a chipmunk than a squirrel. It looks very reminiscent of Chip and Dale.
Well, I do believe they are squirrels.
Or Chip and Dale?
No, in the game, Save Your Nuts.
Well, no, the guy on the box art looks like a chipmunk.
Well, according to the description on the developer's website, it says, in Save Your Nuts, crafty squirrels organise a tournament to challenge other animals in a physics-based competition for the ages.
Yeah.
And that's a 1 to 8 player game. But if you're looking for a free game, however, if you head over to the Epic Games store, you can get Yooka-Laylee and Void Bastards. They will be free to download and available until the 26th of August. But also in Epic Games news, they're apparently making an equivalent to Steam Direct, as they are now testing a new system that will allow developers to self-publish their games on the Epic Games store. They'll be able to set up their own product pages, achievements, pricing, offers, and upload builds and updates on the store. Developers can currently sign up to try out this new system as it's currently in a closed beta stage. What do you think about that?
I mean, it makes it obviously easier for developers, considering Epic already make like a literal free engine for game developers, which is built into the Epic Games app. So you can literally just build your game and then immediately upload it to the store. Even simpler than obviously the Steam one, because obviously Steam don't have their own game engine. But the problem with that they might have is obviously what they had with Steam is the quality of the games being uploaded took a decrease when Steam introduced theirs. It's because there's no quality. Epic aren't checking, is this game good enough to be on the store? It's just, you can, any old mess you can put out, which obviously means there's more games, but the quality decreases, but you get more chance of your game getting out there.
Well, I would assume Epic being Epic, they will actually hire a team of quality control people to look at what's being uploaded and manage the stuff to make sure we don't get garbage on there.
Well, yes, but that would be retrospectively, because obviously as a developer I can put up my game, it can sit on that store, it's straight to the store, people can already buy it before it has been quality checked. That's what they're saying, is obviously they're adding the ability to do that. Whereas obviously the current system would be, obviously, games would be submitted for approval for Epic. So they would check it and then it would go on the store. Which means obviously somebody has to sit there going, these games that are currently on sale on our platform, I've now got to check them. Are they good enough? Should I take them down?
Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see what happens in terms of quality of games and how Epic Games will handle it.
Yeah, just expect to see a lot of more Unreal games showing up on Epic Games store.
As for now, that system's only in the beta stage anyway, and it's only for developers to use, so since I'm not a developer, I don't know exactly the ins and outs of how it works.
I mean, I have a developer's account with them.
I'm assuming you'd have to actually try and publish a game in order to see everything though, and how it all works.
Possibly, but that means having the time to be able to make a game.
Exactly. In other news, however, we have a new patch for Cyberpunk 2077, as they're going to be bringing free DLC, only small DLC though. It's nothing like The Witcher 3 DLC with big expansions, not yet anyway. You'll be able to get a new alternate appearance for Johnny Silverhand, a multi-layered leather jacket, and an Archer Quartz, along with the patch also bringing a lot of different bug fixes and minor improvements to the game as well. People have started to debate if Cyberpunk is worth playing now, because of all the new updates and stuff that have actually been put to it.
Have you tried it yet? Is it playable yet?
I haven't tried it yet, no. It's definitely on my list to play since I've obviously got the game, but it's not high on the list for me anymore.
Yeah.
But I will get around to it at some point. At the minute, I'm still working through Souls franchise, so...
Yeah.
Also in the news is a new Nintendo Switch Lite, which will be a Pokemon edition, so you can have a Pokemon aesthetic to your Switch Lite, and that will be released on November the 5th.
Well, obviously it's to do with the fact that the new lights are to coincide with the release of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are basically, I don't know if they're remakes or remasters. Yeah, they're basically like the remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, with Dialga and Palkia on the back. But I think, considering that the light's been out a while, does it make sense to do another design for the light after they've just announced the OLED one? Maybe they could have done a limited edition OLED one for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to make people actually want to buy the OLED one.
Yeah, well, that might have been slightly more expensive for them, so maybe too expensive for their budget. But that's just speculation. But if you like Pokemon and you want a Pokemon-styled Nintendo Switch Lite, November 5th, you can get one.
How much?
I don't know.
Not that I'd probably buy it, I already own the Switch Lite, so...
I don't. Also in the news is Dead by Daylight, as the Stranger Things pack will no longer be on sale as of November the 17th, but it is currently on a half-price sale until November 17th, if you want to get it cheaper. But once it's gone, it'll be gone for good. If you've already bought it or plan to buy it before it's gone, you'll obviously be able to keep everything within that pack.
Yeah.
But if you have any interest in that Stranger Things pack, I would advise getting it as soon as possible, because as soon as November 17th hits, it's gone, and it ain't coming back. What do you think about that?
I think... Screw Netflix.
Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah. Because Netflix is venturing into gaming, they're not willing to renew the licensing for Stranger Things for Dead by Daylight. They went from being one of the more cooperative licenses that Dead by Daylight had, where they're like, yeah, you can produce whatever content you want for it, to, oh, we don't want you to have rights to use our stuff anymore. But because people have already bought this, legally, we can't take that away from them.
Yeah, it's very disappointing from Netflix.
I mean, personally, I would have waited till, obviously, to see if my venture into gaming as a service would actually work before I shat on gamers. Like, I would have renewed the license, and then if Netflix is successful, like, doing their own gaming thing, then maybe you can not renew it next time.
Or maybe, I don't know, have a certain profit share from it. At least that way people can still buy it and keep it.
Yeah, negotiate a new deal. Though I would hope that Netflix should get some royalty from, obviously, the characters and stuff being in the game.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming they would have had some kind of profit share with the original deal, but with obviously their ventures into gaming and stuff, I don't think taking away this, obviously, pack and everything is a good idea, so I think they should have just negotiated a new deal. Whether that's a slightly bigger profit margin or something, I don't know. They shouldn't force the developers to have to get rid of it, that's all.
I mean, they could have done what, obviously, Valve had with Bill Overbeck, is that his name? Basically, the character from the Left 4 Dead, well, it wasn't really a DLC. It was a Steam exclusive character, was Bill. So PlayStation and Xbox players couldn't get Bill. They could still have his perks. His perks were just general, normal perks, which is what Steve, Nancy, and Demogorgon's perks are going to be now. They'll be put into just like the common pool. The perks will stay in. It's just you won't be able to buy the characters, and you'll no longer be able to play on the map.
Yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, they could have made those characters a Netflix service exclusive. I mean, it's kind of a backwards way to do it, to like go, this is something you had before, but we're taking it away now. But I mean, they could possibly still do that. Say, you can only purchase it if you have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
I don't know, it still means obviously some people still get it, it's just a shitty way to do it.
Yeah.
Considering a lot of people just wanted them to add more Stranger Things stuff. Like, they want more, not necessarily like more characters. They do want more characters, but obviously it's unrealistic to say, oh, add a bunch of these different characters so that all the survivor list is just filled with characters from the series. They wanted them to do stuff like what they did with Steve. There's a Steve skin, which is, oh my god, what's his name? The guy, he's a big brother to one of the main characters. And I think he dates Nancy.
Jonathan.
Yeah. So yeah, the character is still Steve, basically. He still has Steve's perks and stuff, but the skin changes it to Jonathan. So it'll show up. It has Jonathan's picture on the side of the screen. It'll say Jonathan Myers. Is that his last name? Anyway, it'll say that instead of Steve Harrington. The same with on the Resident Evil one. They have a Claire skin for Jill, and it'll say Claire Redfield rather than Jill Valentine. So people want them to do similar stuff to that, but with some other characters. One of which being, I think her name's Robin?
Robin Buckley.
I don't know, because I think Robin would fit. Robin in her Ships Ahoy outfit would fit Steve with his Ships Ahoy outfit. Another one was the sheriff guy.
Jim Hopper.
Yeah, but that would be another one for Steve, so. Is there any other females that would suit to be an extra character?
Joyce Byers. Max. 11.
Yeah, but they've got to be of age.
Oh, I don't know what age group you want.
Well, I think they should at least be 18. But some of the characters they already have are under the age of 18.
I was going to say, if you're looking for 18-year-olds in Stranger Things, you're going to have a hard time, because most of them are minors.
No, I meant in Dead by Daylight, some of the characters themselves are under the age of 18, where it's supposed to be, all the survivors are supposed to be like 18 plus. Well, I mean, Nancy and Steve, I would argue that they're not 18 in the game, because if it's Nancy and Steve from the first season, is Nancy 15 and Steve 16?
I thought there was like 16, 17-ish.
In the second season, they are, yeah. I think she starts as 15. I don't know. Either way, that is under the age of 18.
Obviously. By 3 years.
But only in the third season, I think in the third season, Nancy's 17? So she's nearly of age. Or is she 18? I don't know. Regardless, there's other characters, I think. I can't remember if the one from the Silent Hill chapter, I think in her game she's under 18. No, it's not actually her. One of the character skins they have, I think is supposed to be a little girl.
Okay.
So that character is definitely obviously under 18. But yeah, they didn't want to have children and stuff in there. But for Stranger Things, so you have to have obviously the older people rather than the actual. I would have said the kids were probably more the main characters, and they're not.
Yeah.
But you gotta wait, obviously you have to wait a few seasons before they're actually old enough before you can add them into Dead by Daylight. But this is obviously if this had never happened anyway. Yeah, it's never happening. It's complete hypothetical. If Netflix decide to go back on this and allow it later down the line, then obviously you can have those characters.
But while we are saying goodbye to the Stranger Things pack in Dead by Daylight, we will hopefully soon be saying hello to Pinhead, as he is currently in the public test build.
Pinhead, obviously from the Hellraiser franchise.
Yes.
Have you ever seen those films?
I have not.
Me neither.
I've not seen many of the classic horror-type films. I've seen all the Friday the 13th ones.
Yeah.
I've only seen one of the Nightmare on Elm Street ones, and I've watched the first Halloween.
Yeah.
but I've not really seen any of the Hellraiser ones or the Child's Play ones.
I think Hellraiser, someone did also point out that Hellraiser is not a very good fit because apparently he's not a killer, but then he's just basically he puts people in traps and tortures them. So apparently he's like a demonic Jigsaw. And obviously they did the Saw chapter already, where you put people in traps and stuff. But it's not actually Jigsaw who they put into the game. They put Amanda in it.
Yeah.
So I guess Pinhead would be similar to, obviously similar to the pig, in that puts them in traps and stuff. But instead of like those Jigsaw puzzle boxes to put the hands in and have to find the key in the razor wire and stuff, it's more you have to possibly complete this gold puzzle box thing he has. But I don't know why. I've not seen the film, so I don't know why they've got to complete the puzzle box. And he possibly might have something similar to what Pyramid Head has, where he can put people in a cage. So maybe Hellraiser nail them to the cross thing that he has.
From my understanding, the golden box that he has is what summons him. If that's opened, he's summoned.
I don't know. But just apparently he's all about these sadistic puzzles. So how they do that, I don't know.
Neither do I.
I haven't played the PTB yet.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see him on the main game in a few weeks' time, after they're done with testing him on the public beta test stuff. In other news though, we have a remake of Quake that's now available on Steam and the Microsoft Store for $10. If you already own the original, then you'll be able to claim the remake for free. The remake comes with 4K resolution, widescreen resolution support, enhanced models, dynamic and coloured lighting, depth of field and a new theme song from Trent Reznor, who of course composed the original soundtrack. And the remake also includes both of the original DLC packs. Did you ever play the original?
No, it might have been a bit before my time.
Also in the news, we have some hackers in GTA Online, as if that's a surprise to anyone.
What, you caught me?
But lately, they've apparently found a way to force phone calls into other players' in-game phones that will make the phone ring constantly no matter what you're doing, even when you've switched to play the campaign. And the only way to make it stop is to reset the game completely.
How are they doing it in your single-player mode?
Well, they implement it when you're in online, and then when you switch to campaign, it's already essentially infected you, so it's following you through.
Weird.
I don't know how it works specifically, but that is obviously something it does. If you just load the game up in campaign mode, then obviously you can't be hacked like that. But if you go into online mode and you come across someone who is doing it, then it will follow you into campaign, if you go to campaign.
Yeah.
You have to completely close the game and then reopen it in order to make it stop. But in lighter news, we have a new Skyrim port. Bethesda announced a new port of Skyrim and labelled it as the Anniversary Edition. It will be making its way over to the PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. If you already own the special edition of the game on the previous consoles, then you can claim this version for free. But that just about does it for the news this week. If you have any thoughts on anything we've discussed this week, make sure to leave it in the comments below, and we will see you again next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.